if you're used to faster tempi, it takes time. It takes time, but once you get there, once you have experienced this complete relaxation, but there is a kind of tension, but it's not, it's very gentle. It's moving. Like, I cannot compare it to something else. Once you get there, you want to stay there. In the second part of this Afterthoughts video on the famous G minor sonata by Haydn, I will be focusing on the second part, on the second movement, and touching on two topics: the tempo guidance spot related to the effect. That's coming up right after this. So hello everybody and welcome to this second part of the Afterthoughts video on Haydn Sonata number 32 in G minor. It's this one. We did an extensive Afterthoughts on the first movement and I talked in depth on notation, effect and why I decided to choose that tempo. If you're interested in that, please check it out. I will not repeat in this video what I was saying in that video, but it's related to each other. So if you're interested in that, you might want to see that video first. I will link it here in the video and in the description box. So the second part of that sonata is this one. Is to, if I remember well, because I don't listen too much to other performances, certainly not if I'm working on my own performance. And that's not a good quality of me as a musician, I know, but I know many of my colleagues are in the same position, that you're just focused on what you're doing. And so I don't know really if it's played much faster, but I can imagine it is. So you might wonder, this is really going very far. But this part is allegretto, and I've struggled with that a lot, because allegretto is not this. This is more andante. Maybe even towards adagio. So why is Haydn choosing allegretto? And I was telling in the first section on this Afterthoughts that I was doubting for tempo choices for a long time, really more than a year, before I decided that it was time to record that sonata and just dive into the deep water and see what happens. And I decided to play it exactly as I felt that it should be played for me at that moment on this instrument. And certainly for this part, I tried so many tempi, because this allegretto is not something which should take light. Allegretto is more. That's a normal 3/4 line, even not too fast. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, slow minuet, like feeling. So if you looked at the notation combined with the allegretto, you would say, yes, that's the tempo. I am not diving into the short fourth appoggiatura here. That's really complicated matters. We will do that, however, but that's for much later. I have to prepare that very carefully. And not saying that I will come with a solution, because there is no solution to that. You only can get the facts straight one to another. It's very complicated. So, but the effect of this piece is so G minor-like, so, what we said in the first part, so immensely deep kind of pain. Now, with these Seufzer. I'm exaggerating a little bit now. And then you have this tempo guidance spot. Please help me to find a better name. Leave it in the comment box. As you know, I'm not a native English speaker. And that's a thing, I've talked about it also in the Pachelbel Afterthoughts. I repeat a little bit, because for those of you who haven't heard that, I came up with the idea for that reading Leopold Mozart's violin school, which he wrote in 1756. It's a very interesting, worthwhile reading. But he says, and it was a shock to me because I feel the same way actually, that every piece has a kind of spot somewhere, a fragment that puts kind of maximum on your tempo choice. It's much more complicated than that what he writes, but again, I link it to the Pachelbel Afterthoughts, in which I talk more in depth on that, and we will do that, of course, Leopold Mozart, but all on its time. Here you have a clear guidance, tempo, spot, whatever. And it's actually in the beginning. It's often in the beginning, actually. And it's really true what Mozart writes. It's often there. On purpose or not, I don't think on purpose, but the composer makes use of the tempo that he is, or she, mostly here, unfortunately, has in his mind. That's logic as it can be. So, in the other way around, we read their music, we read the notation. So, we come to certain places that you feel are not working in a sort of kind of tempo. There might be a reflection of the fact that the composer had another tempo in mind. And again, it's not about practicing and overcoming problems. But here in 1, 2, 3, 4, bar 4, you have this. There's not much faster that you can play that. You can change the ornament, but the ornament is there. It's a trill. And I guess it needs to be played with the upper note because Haydn is anticipating that with the F sharp. So it might not be very useful. To start with the main note. And some will be able to play faster ornaments on a harpsichord or pianoforte. That's possible. Haydn was much related to the clavichord, and it doesn't make sense to prove things that on that instrument is possible and that player can play it faster. It's a general idea of these keyboard instruments. So, but anyway, this bar, that's kept me from 1 year from recording that sonata, and it kept me from playing this movement faster. So if I play it in my tempo, that spot, that tempo guidance spot, is fitting perfectly. And the effect is then really what I would like the effect to be. And what I can imagine that the effect of the composer was my interpretation. I have no telephone call to Haydn to prove that. But it's not interesting to prove. It's interesting to share with you what my reflection as a musician is for this music. And as I said in the beginning, it's not a joke. I don't try things out to shock, to play slower. I really believe that that might be a possibility, that it is the case. Also, this upbeat with the 16th indicates not a very fast tempo. And then this ornament. And then you go, yeah, perfect spot for the baby. Also ornament, turn on the 16th note. But difficult to keep that movement going within the metrical feel of the beat. So not feeling the bow over the beat, but stay within tum, da dum, ba dum, da dum. But anyway, you have to feel the strong beat on 1, 2, 3, and it's very gentle then, noble. Here. Beginning. It is so painful, this interval. You have to make this feel to your audience, and if it's not enough, it continues. Trill on the 8th note. So all those reasons combined, all those facts, all those things that I feel made me choose that tempo. So, and to me, it reflects very well the effect of that piece. So then comes, of course, a G major piece in which a kind of freedom is implemented. He continues in another mood, of course. It's an answer to that, and then here you have, as I think, complete freedom. And again in tempo. And it is storytelling, it just continues, and the relaxed feel of that continuation is so great as a player, and I hope as a listener. But again, if you're used to faster tempi, it takes time. It takes time, but once you get there, once you have experienced this complete relaxation, but there is a kind of tension, but it's very gentle. It's moving. Like, I cannot compare it to something else. Once you get there, you want to stay there. And to me, and I would never do it if I would think it is not reflecting any kind of historical feel. It's what I make of it, also connected to reading. So I would never do it if I was not serious about that. So anyway, I thank you for watching these 2 episodes of Afterthoughts. I hope it was interesting. Leave your reflection on that in the comment boxes. I would look forward to reading your experience to that. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. You know that we are on Patreons. I just mentioned that $1 can make a difference. It was really mind-blowing to me and to Anja to see that some people just tuned in immediately and some followed later. So thank you all for that. It's really important, and we want to take this channel to the next level. There's a video on that. I want to make it too long here on that part. Thanks again, and see you very soon again. Bye.